Okay, so for this exercise I will use selection of the images I prepared earlier. This is the edit I've done for this particular exercise. So what I'm gonna do is I will put this in stack. So the very important thing is to remember to keep the order. So I put, this is the last image in the edit, this is the first one. So I put them in the stack, like so. Okay, and then I will explain why we have these three different images. So for this exercise we will be using A5 format. So basically what I will take is this page and then I fold it in half. So to make things simple, I used approximately half of the A5, then half of this format, and then half of this format. So this is approximately A5, A6 and A7. So this is going to be entirely analog exercise, so we won't use any computer for that. So I put back my edited images into the stack, and for the exercise I will use simple A5 pages, which I will fold in half. 4 images which I fold in half, like so. And I won't bind it in any way because simply I don't know how many pages it should consist from the beginning, simply because I don't know what I will have the spaces in between the images. So even if I count the number of the images and let's say I would make the same number of pages, then it might not be really the truth, because I might add some additional white pages in between. There might be also the foldouts. So I simply don't know. So for the purpose of this exercise, I advise not to bind this in any way. Just fold it and have it very loose, so we can add or remove pages if it's necessary. So once I've got this pages ready folded, then from the stack of the edited images I take 3 first images. So 1, 2 and 3. Don't need this page anymore. Let's remove this one. So I have 3 images and this is my stack. So I simply work with 3 images because it's always about relationship in between images. It's never about one single image, but it's about what it is going on in between those images. So the best practice is to use 3 of them. So you will always work in between this and this relationship. So once we've got things ready for putting images into the pages, like so, then the first thing is to leave the page which is front page. I usually leave it empty. Or if I have already title of the book, then I put title here. I don't really worry about cover at that stage. I think cover would be the next level once I have everything figured out in terms of the layout of the book. possibly even the size of the book. Then I start think about the cover. So the next step is to start putting images inside of the booklet or book. So as I mentioned before, I leave usually first page empty, or I put title. So if we have title, then why it's worth putting the title? Because we already established some sort of relationship if we put text in front of it, in front of the book. So then let's say I would call this project Adam and Eve, so I would put title here, and it starts working differently than rather than I would leave it blank, because we already established some sort of relationship. So let's start with the first image. So I will start maybe with first two images. So I put this one and this one. And I already kind of like it. I like the relationship on the pages and also the size of the images. For the fixing the images temporarily, I use clips. So I usually advise not to glue them at the beginning. So the idea is that we can easily manipulate and easily move around the images. So until a certain point where we are sure that this is what we want, I advise not to actually fix the images. So we have these first two images and I already like it, but maybe let's try and see how this relationship would look like if we use different size of the images. So we can do, for example, this and this. This also looks interesting. What can also happen is we can separate these images, of course. So let's say I want to have this image here, and then I want to have this image here. And this also somehow works. It's quite nice. I mean, I think with this size it works better rather than with the small one when we have these two images separated. But then the important thing is actually to find out what is the relationship of those two images we already have on the pages with the next image. So let me just fix that one here, which would be this image. So let's just take simply, or maybe let's take this one, which is the same size as we have with the images before. So something like this. So let's start from the beginning. I mean, it sort of works, but there's everything is like in basically one tone. There is no any drama in what we're showing. So what I will try is actually distinguish in between those two first images and then this one. So first thing I would do is I would put this image as a big image, and then then I think it doesn't work that well as before. So what I will do is actually come back to what I had before. So these two images will be on one page. So let's put them here and here. But then we have to move this one to the next page. So let's put them like so. So we have this sort of relationship, which I think works quite nicely. And then we have this one. I kind of like this relationship, so I think I'm gonna stick with what we have so far. Okay, so once I have these three first images solved, the next step would be to move to the next three images. So what I will do is I put these on the stack. So I reverse the order now, and then I move them on the left, and then I put the three next images in order how they appear in the edit. 1, 2, and this is third one. Yeah. So I move the page now. And then I don't simply know what's gonna happen, so I just put them as they are, like that. And I don't like it necessarily what happens here, so maybe I have only one image again, but this size doesn't really work for me. I think this image should be a big image, so maybe I put I put it like that, and I think it works much better in this size, in this scale, and it has different meaning when we change the scale. I think I wanna more connect this image with this image. If they are on the right hand side, both of them, there's this white space in between them, which is sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. I think what I want this time is them to be basically together. So what I will do is I will put it on the left hand side, like here. So let's move back to the beginning. So we have first one, then this one, and then this one. So then I somehow also want to connect this image with this image, and I think because of the expression of this image, like the power of this water, we have the wind here and we have water, so we have two forces. So in a way I want to highlight this, and what I will do is I put it, or at least I try to put it big. However, I will separate it in this white page, or two pages. So let's have a look again. Let me just maybe fix it. So this is my first one. Then I go to the second. next one. And then I have this. I think I like it, but then the question is what's gonna happen on the next pages. So to explore the next connection, let's move those two images from the table. So I put them here and here, and then I move the next images. So basically, because this edit is very short, it's just an example. Usually it would be longer, but I only have two images left, so I put them on the table. And then let's see what's gonna happen. So the first intuition is to go bold again, but maybe this is not really working like that. I think it's too busy, too much going on. And also I think I would separate those two images, because this one is so strong and this one is so strong that I think I need space in between them. So what I can do is try to put this one here, but then the problem is that we actually repeating the same thing here, what we have here. And then the idea is that from time to time we want to differentiate the size of the image, because as important as having the certain rhythm in edit is to have a certain rhythm also in layout, which will highlight the differences in edit and in layout together. So I think this is not really working for me because it's too similar to what I have had before. So what I will do is I go the opposite actually. Still I want to have these two images connected together, so I keep the same size, so they, even though they are separated on two different pages, we still perceive them as a pair basically, and I think that works quite, it's much better. And also let me just go back to the beginning. This actually nicely mirror what happened at the beginning of the book. So we start with these small two images on the same spread, then we have one single big one, then we kind of repeat it, but then we merge this image with the previous one, simply moving it towards left side. It's important to highlight that in Western tradition, right hand side is more important. So even though this page is empty here, what's gonna happen is when we open this page, our eye goes straight to this empty page and then go left. And then we connected this image with this image by using the same size, however separating it with this page. And then we actually repeated the separation of the images with this single page, but then we also repeated what happened at the beginning of the book. So we mirror the size of the images from the beginning of the book. So I think this works quite nicely. We have this recurring rhythmical repetition of sizes of the images, like we have this one. then there is also differentiation, so not each image is the same size. And then we introduce also empty pages like this one. And then we introduce variation of the sizes, so we come back to the beginning. So we also introduce mirroring the size of the images from the beginning. So I think that works quite nicely as for the layout.